for me, I know that like the person you portray online, like I don't give a fuck. As long as it fucking gets me paid, like who really cares, to be honest. Essentially 10 years fucking getting fucked up, blackout drunk, not really getting much done, weekend millionaire, talking about all the business I was going to start, spending 1-2 days in bed, eating Mackies and wasting away. True growth is when you're tired of your own shit. And there came a point where I was like, fuck this. Every time I set myself a financial goal and I stopped drinking, I reached the goal pretty easily. So I was like, oh, I like patterns. So I was like, the pattern is set myself a goal, stop drinking, reach it.
How important is it to have a personal brand in this day and age?
The better you are at selling, the more things you get. Better partner, better friendships, you get f***ed over less, kind of gives you a bit more of an edge.
How did you go broke?
Which time? Yeah. I just like spending money. Stop being a fucking victim and just get it done. Like, it ain't that deep and it ain't that hard. Anyone will hire you to get into sales because they don't have to pay you unless you close or you set appointments, whatever it is. Visualize the person you want to be in the next 12, 18, 24 months and then make decisions based on that person's mindset rather than the one you are now. Because if you make decisions based on who you are now, you'd only end up here.
Yo, people, just a quick one before we dive back in. If you haven't already, please go and follow me and H on socials. They're the first 2 links in the description. We are documenting everything behind the scenes of the podcast, building our businesses, all of the wins, all of the losses, and everything in between. So if you wanted to see a little bit more BTS and join mine and H's journey to grow in everything that we've got going on, please go and hit the first 2 links in the description and drop us a follow and enjoy the rest of the episode. Peace.
Pame.
Yeah. What's happening, brother? You okay?
I'm good. Pleasure to meet you boys.
First podcast.
First one, I think, yeah. I would say I probably do like a podcast a day with my mates, just shooting the shit, but this is the first one that's actually in the space, in the studio, so yeah.
I would argue
Thanks.
that we probably do the same and we film it as well.
Honestly, the amount of conversations I've had, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Why aren't I recording this? It doesn't make sense.
You should.
Yeah, it's just another, I'm big on the red dress at the moment. I sent a photo to my mate yesterday of Hailey Bieber on LinkedIn. It was like, she sold a business for $1 billion in 3 years. And I sent it, I was like, I'm going to build a fragrance. And he was like, what's she wearing? I was like, red dress. He was like, there you go. You know what I mean by woman in the red dress? Yeah, just the distraction.
It's like the Hormozy thing when he speaks about the value of the spare, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm just like, cool, I'll leave that one on the side.
When you actually said to me, you was like, I'm going to be in Canggu to do like a perfume masterclass, I was like, this guy's a bit edgy. Like, what?
It's sick.
I've never heard anybody say, like, I'm going to do perfume making. That was the first.
My friend, Yaz, she's like a bit of a witch, a spiritual witch. When I first met her, I was like, I don't know how much I can get behind this shit. And I've been mates with her for like 4 or 5 years now, so I'm getting indoctrinated a little bit. But she got me, for my 30th, she got me a Zippo lighter. But she bought it, I think, here. Wanted to get engraved with my last name, Weston, but couldn't get it done here. So she took it back to the UK. Then she went to the States, I think, and then came back and got engraved. So she had it on her person for like a year or something, 6 months. Then gave it to me, and I was like, fuck, I think that's probably the nicest, most thoughtful gift I've ever received. And I could potentially have that for the rest of my life, and it fits the brand. So in my mind, I was like, what the fuck can I give to her that has like equal sort of value that could last a lifetime? So I obviously ChatGPT'd it. And then I said, buy her some perfume. I was like, yeah, I get it, but like that's like comes and goes. So in my mind, I was like, perfume masterclass. And I found there was one in Bali. So I just booked it, went with her, made it. She banged 2 out somehow in a couple hours. I made mine. I called it Coco Cafe. But I don't know if you can smell it on me. It's a bit rogue.
To be honest, I didn't pick it up, but like now you're making me want to like come over and sniff you. It's a bit weird.
Feel free. But no, it's like, I don't know how you guys make decisions, but when I go in, I basically knew everything I wanted beforehand. The smelling was actually like, gave me option paralysis. There's like 30 different scents, top, middle, bottom layer. Bottom layer is like oody, musky sort of stuff. Middle was more, I can't remember verbatim, like citrus.
Fruity,
yeah, and then the top was like maybe bamboo or something. But for me, I could have gone in, how many do I need to pick? 7, boom, 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 done. And that's kind of what I did. It's fun though. You should do it. It's like, well, it'd be unreal if your chicks ever come out just to take them there.
Maybe it would be a good little thing. Maybe we could take them something back.
I said that they've got like this place that you can do like rings and stuff as well. You have some rings. Like,
that was fun. I did that.
Oh, you did that?
But for me, I'm like, I'm not a fucking silversmith. I'm not a perfume guy either. But it's much easier to add the sense that you like than to make a little shitty ring that you'll never use again. In my mind, like
we take back a little perfume. It's like, babe, make sure you wear what I brought you back.
Imagine that. I made this for you based on how much I know you. Then they'll be like, this stinks. Like,
or it could go the opposite.
Yeah.
And you have the best time
They're
ever.
really helpful there. They can be like, what do you want? What smells do they like? And then you can go from that. But like, I think it would be a bit of a hook if you did that.
Damn.
Yeah, that's locked in for a
Need
while.
to get a perfume
And then
before
you get the sheet with how much of each ingredient is in. So it's like, you can always remake. Yeah, you can recreate this, and this is yours for life. And that was like why I did it for Yaz, my friend, because I was like,
it's like your bespoke smell from me to you.
Kind of. I didn't make hers though, but she gave me the lighter with my name on. I was like, that's like an heirloom almost. So I was like, now you have your own fragrance for life. So yeah, I thought it was a goated move. So thanks ChatGPT for the initial inspiration.
Well, Broski, how are we here? How do you have the version of you that we have today? Because I know off camera we spoke a little bit and you've given us a bit of a backstory. There's a lot of moving parts. How do we have the Connor that we have today, and where did it kind of start?
Good question. How do we have the Connor that we have here today, and where did it start? I feel like they're two different questions.
Well, answer the first one. Actually, answer the second one.
That's a long one. I would say the version we have today is like the best, fortunately for everyone, the best version that I've been in a long time. Through like very recent changes, maybe like the last 3-4 weeks. Because before then I was like a bit more work, no distractions, no fun, no joy, no emotion, no fucking feeling, no nothing. Kind of like an empty vessel of tapping on the laptop. That was kind of it. So now recently I've become a bit more like joyful, fun, happy.
What changed?
Lots of introspection, lots of conversations, lots of investing in stuff that I don't necessarily like deem originally to be helpful. So like what I was saying with Yaz, she's very like, she does tarot cards and stuff. And for me, I'm always like, whatever comes out is exactly, I'll just like read that how I want to. Like, it's not magic, it's not anything. And everyone has their own thoughts on it, but I'm just leaning more into like spirituality rather than just I'm God, I'm better than everyone else. It's more like I'm kind of enjoying letting coincidences not be coincidences, like more visualization, manifestation. But in a nutshell, I would say the guy that I invested in recently to like reset my nervous system, his whole thing is like inner child wounds. And if you asked me that like 5 weeks ago, I'd have been like, fuck that shit, like who needs that fucking made up bullshit.
Inner child wounds?
I don't even know what it means.
Was it like Zoom calls?
Zoom calls, I actually met him. So the way I met him was nuts. And this is why I'm kind of like, fuck it, I'm just here for the ride. Like, you know when, seen Nemo?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Goated.
You boys are young, mate. You might not fucking...
Everybody's seen those.
So you know when they're in the water and they've got that like current and that channel and they go in it with the turtles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel like I should be. And that's how I'm a bit more now. Like I'm just going with the current rather than like trying to fight everything like a fucking shark. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, I don't really know what it means, but like I met this guy, so come to Canggu and I was like, I know I need to change because like I haven't been happy in a long time, really. Someone asked me, what was your happiest memory of your life? And I was like, no fucking clue. Took me a while. Yeah, it's peak. And so I was like, I'll go to Canggu. I'm just going to go surf more. I've been doing loads of prehab and rehab on my elbows because I get tendonitis, otherwise like surfer's elbow, which stopped me from surfing for like a year, which is like what I used to do as a kid every fucking day. Not that there's much waves in the UK, but it was like, I would still go out, paddle, have fun. I'm only small, so I can get on anything. Anyway, I was like, I need to go back to doing the stuff that like the 14, 15, 17-year-old Connor would do. Surfing was one of them. So I was doing work on my elbows. I was like, I feel comfortable to go in without getting a fucking tendonitis session. And then I go out there. I have a little look. My friend goes out. We were meant to surf together. Good friend of mine. And we ended up picking like different places to go. I don't know how much you know about surfing, but you can have multiple peaks or multiple places of the ocean that you can go out. Similar waves, but there'll be different directions, different amount of people. There's a few little bits. And he went to a separate place than I did, and it was just, we were meant to go together and we chose to split based on our assumption of where was better. So I went out, it was nice and quiet and easy left, and it was fun. There was not many people there. And I met this guy, and I like chatting to people when I surf. A lot of surfers are fucking like, this is the locals only, like dickhead mentality for some reason.
Chatting to people and smoking ciggies on the wave.
Yeah, basically. But like, I just want to have a conversation. It's like part of the fun is like seeing what people are about. And there was this geezer, I can't remember his name, bit of a faux pas on my part, but started chatting to him. Turns out he doesn't drink. I was like, sweet, neither do I. So we were chatting to this, and I just asked him, because a guy asked me, where's the best place to get out? Because there's reefs there. And he was like, if you go to the other side of the Perinan statue, you can get out easy days. I was like, okay, sound. So I get out easy days with this Spanish guy, say goodbye, and then my mates just randomly stood there. Another friend of mine who I've known for 20 years. He was on an evening walk. So I was like, perfect. I'll just walk back and go from there. And then after that, I was like, cute coincidence. But when I was walking back, we were talking about just new experiences and doing new things. And I know that like I get off on doing new shit because I like to be in semi-uncomfortable positions, but I hadn't really been doing it. You know, when you put yourself in a place of comfort because it's easy routine, you get stagnant and it's kind of shit. So I was like, I'm going to go to this Bali Brotherhood thing, which typically...
I heard about that.
Yeah. For me, I'm very against all that shit. I'm like, this sounds like fucking people who have got no mates. That's how I perceive it. And I'm like, I don't need that. I have mates. Very rudimentary sort of thinking. But I was like, I'll go. One of the guys who runs it, friend of mine, we used to spar together at Bali MMA. We went for dinner with him like a few weeks before, and he told me he was like one of the founders of it. I was like, fair. I was like, how can I not go and support, at least go once? So I go, end up seeing the fucking sober guy who was there, who I met surfing. I was like, coincidence. Perfect. We sit there, we get put in these groups. There's like, there's a lot of guys there, surprising amount. Maybe everyone's in like groups of 10. There's like 5 groups, so say 50 people. I get put with this one guy who's like leading our table. Turns out I just really liked the way he spoke, the way he delivered a lot of what he said. And I'm pretty sure I can't say anything because there's a silence. You know, you're not meant to share anything from it.
Like an NDA that you didn't sign kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. But, so you sit there, you talk about a few topics, but the way he delivered it, I fucking really rated. I was like, you've done this before. So then I reached out to him, spoke to him, got me in a call. He closed me very well, to be fair. Like, I really rated how he closed me on it. And then I ended up working with him. But for me, I was just like, there was too many things that just like added up. The new experience, meeting the guy surfing, meeting him again there, seeing my friend, going surfing, splitting off. I was like, I feel like it was meant to happen. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like fighting it and saying, yeah, I chose it. It was like kind of like the path was already there. And as long as I went with it, it made sense.
What does it entail, finding out about is it like the traumas that you had as a child that you kind of dive into?
I'm not that deep into it.
Okay.
So for me, a lot of it comes down to, like I said to you before, is like just fucking paying for something, making a commitment to it, making it real, and then just like exploring whatever goes on. So the other day we did like I think it's lymphatic drainage. Again, I ain't ever doing this on my wants. Like, but I'm on this call with everyone, and most people on there are chicks, to be fair. It's just like me and like, these middle-aged chicks. It's quite jokes. And I'm there and I'm like pressing my face on my armpit. So I went and bought this like tool yesterday. You've probably seen chicks use it on their face. So I went and bought one. I'm just like, you know, I'm going in studs up, 2-footed challenges, just to like this new realm of life that doesn't really make any sense. But what I've been doing currently has got me here. But it's been a long road of no fun, not much abundance, and like hardship. So I'm like, how about we try and, you know, go a bit deeper into shit that maybe isn't as tangible or quantifiable, and like see how it goes. And it's been much more abundant, fun and happy. So yeah, that's what's changed recently for me, is like having good people around me always helps, because they're already on this journey in their other direction. Everyone's got shit going on. Yeah. So it's good to hear it. But like for me, just really, if I don't want to do it, I'll just do it anyway. Especially like the spiritual realm. I'm like, come on, boys. Like, the fuck is this shit? And then I'm like, why not? What have I got to lose? And yeah, shit's gone like arguably fucking 10x better since I started doing that sort of stuff.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. And I feel like it's less commonly spoken about because most people's top of funnel is for people who aren't ready to receive that, or their stage of awareness is so low. But once you get into the bracket of business owner, making all right money, you're then like, cool, I've got myself here using fucking brute force and a stiff upper lip. It's like, how do I get to the fucking M per month? Probably not with the same tactics.
Yeah.
It's like moving, you know what it's like when you're in the business and then you move out of the business. I think it's the same thing for my head, basically. To answer your question.
Kind of. Kind of. I'm just intrigued by you, bro. Because obviously, like, there's like this perception of you, let's say, that I came across online, and there's the person that I've sat down and had a conversation with for the last hour.
Yeah.
Very different, to be fair.
Listen, there's parts of you that I can kind of just see in your like, energy and your aura, like from, like the thing that got me was the hybrid stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
like,
funny.
my boy's on the waves and there's a half smoked ciggy in his mouth. Like I've never seen that before.
See the diving one the other day?
No, I didn't.
I got a cigarette, smoked like a third of it, put it out, but kept the ash, and then I covered it in super glue, let it dry, did another layer of super glue, so it was technically waterproof. Went scuba diving, went on a shipwreck and just smoked it, like pretending, obviously, with the bubbles of the smoke. Yeah, funny.
that is funny. But yeah, you throw me a little bit now with the super glue. But there's this like one version of you that I saw. I think even the one like a day in the life of the closer, and like you go and you sit on the toilet and you're like lighting a ciggy on the toilet and stuff like that.
The dickhead, basically.
But obviously it's funny. I know what you're doing. You're getting attention. You're getting people to comment. You're getting whatever. And then you sit and then you hear a story like this, and it's like, wow, like it really does highlight to you that social media is just like one part of somebody.
Yeah.
There's always so many more layers to unfold, and stories, and even just like what you've kind of been through and the amount of different places you've been and what you've done. You just don't get that.
Yeah.
From that initial interaction.
Yeah, it's like one-dimensional, isn't it, online? Yeah. You just see what you want to see, what they're putting out. I just see it as a tool.
You see what they want you to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially. And for me, I know that like the person you portray online, like I don't give a fuck. Like as long as it fucking gets me paid, like who really cares, to be honest?
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? It's a machine.
Yeah. And well, for me, the more extreme you are early days, the quicker your spaceship will get off the ground. Once the spaceship is up, that's like the hardest part, right? All of the fuel and the combustion is just to get it off the ground, out of the atmosphere. Once you're there, it's like you're chilling.
Then you can start dropping in your pieces of value and show a little bit more personality because people are already there, right?
I used to do value and no one gave a fuck.
Yeah.
So
everybody's already done the like, oh, you need to know these 5 things. Like everybody's already seen it. They know what's coming.
But no, it was good. The hybrid thing, I remember sent it to my mate. It was New Year's Day. And
what, 25?
Yeah. That marked my 2 years no drinking. And
congrats.
Thanks. And I went in and I was like, there's no one in this fucking gym. It's Bando gym anyway. I was like, I got my GoPro. I was like, fuck it. Just video myself having a gret while training. Send it to my mate Harry. I was like, what do you think of this? He was like, I don't know. Pretty dumb. I was like, yeah. I was like, do I post it? He was like, yeah. So I banged it and it just went. I was like, okay. Now I understand how this shit works. You just like... I
understand it now.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Like, bit of a fucking ego check for myself, but like I always in my mind was like, I don't feel like I'm someone who necessarily copies. I know they say the best form of like copying is I don't know what that fucking quote is. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what the quote. I know what you're trying to say.
Picasso's quote, basically. I think it is. Anyway, my point is, I'm not really a fan of copying and like repurposing, like regurgitating stuff, because I'm like, that was your idea. I can't really take your idea and then do it. So I just kind of enjoyed my idea. Haven't seen it done. Obviously Tate's done a little bit, but like not to that extent. And I was just like, it was nice to be the innovator of something, because I feel like that anyway. It was nice for it to be put out. And then I see a lot of people copy it and I'm like, cool, love that. Just gives me like a reassuring pat on the back that I'm better.
Why did you stop drinking?
Fucking, there's so many reasons. I don't know. For me, most reasons I do something, the most decisions I make aren't based off of one reason. There's like a multitude of reasons. So drinking is one of them. Was my aunt and her partner, they're like 10 to 30 years sober, and they're goats in my mind. They're like some of the biggest influence I've had in my life, especially my aunt. She's a fucking goat, certified goat for sure. Shout out Lindsay Weston.
Shout out Lindsay, man.
Yeah, she's fucking the best. And I lived in Mexico. When I was 16, I went to go live with her for 6 months, kind of like became a man in Mexico in Playa del Carmen with her. She showed me like sales, what you can get from sales, the high life. You know, they're rolling around in Hummers and Ranges and beachfront properties, and I'm 16. I'm like, ah.
In Mexico?
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, I was at sixth form, and I was like, see you fuckers later for the summer. I'll just go to Mexico for the summer. And then went back to Mexico when I was like 23 maybe. Spent like a year there, and then I went back a couple of years later as well. So I spent a lot of time there, and she's never really drunk. So I was like, it had an impact. But then, I don't know if you boys have had it, but I spent essentially 10 years fucking getting fucked up, blackout drunk, not really getting much done, weekend millionaire, talking about all the business I was going to start, spending 1-2 days in bed, eating Mackies and fucking wasting away. So I was just like, true growth is when you're tired of your own shit. And there came a point where I was like, fuck this. But it took a while. It took me like 2 years to actually stop, if that makes sense. So I do 6 months, then I go back to it. 6 months, go back to it. And then 2023 was it? January 2023, I was like, nah, this is the last hurrah for now.
I feel like when I speak to people and they're like, I quit drinking, it's always because they were at like an extreme state of drinking.
Yeah.
Like you just said, like blackout fucking drunk, not getting anything done for 2 days. Like, I'm not going to lie. I love a single malt whiskey or two. Or
Same.
I love a seltzer in the sun. Do you know what I mean?
I've never had one.
A seltzer?
Never.
Oh, they're great.
I honestly, my mate had one the other day. I was like, I've never had one of those.
They're great, mate. Stay hydrated. It's like having a beer. You don't wake up with a headache.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get you to kind of get back onto your drinking grind. Like,
Well, I'm not like against it. For me, basically, I set myself goals when I was younger. Save 10K, move to Bali. Did it. But I stopped drinking beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mexico, save 15K. Stopped drinking, moved to Mexico. And I was like, every time I set myself a financial goal and I stopped drinking, I reached the goal pretty easily. So I was like, I like patterns. So I was like, the pattern is set myself a goal, stop drinking, reach it.
What's the goal that you're aiming towards now?
1 million in a year.
Love that.
Or 1 million followers online. They were the two.
Which one would you rather?
I don't give a fuck.
Really?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Like, there was no...
I think if you got 1 million followers online, the £1 million in a year is pretty inevitable.
I feel like the person you
done
become building a business that does 1 million a year is better than the person you become at having 1 million followers.
I was going to say, like, I would have taken the 1 million in a year like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then you could lose the business that has 1 million a year, but you can't really lose too many of the 1 million followers.
Yeah.
That's why I say I'll probably just do both. I don't know why I said probably.
Yeah.
That's
Fuck yeah. Well, do both. If you become the person that's going to build £1 million business, people are probably going to be interested in that.
I don't actually care about the followers, to be honest, that much. Like, I think a few of my friends used to say this, like, why do you care? I'm like, I don't really care. It's not like I want clout or status. I feel pretty good anyway.
Them.
You do, but I'm like, given the option, I would probably like rather not. Okay, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I go to the beach. I go there, take my Kindle, I read a few pages of James Bond, smoke a dart, and I was like, you know what, this is fucking
1 minute,
great.
you told me you stopped smoking yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. I had an identity shift. I was listening to The Secret, and I was like, oh, why am I identifying as a smoker still?
Wait, so like the smoking's done now?
I don't want to say it because I'm pretty fucking hypocritical.
Because in like 3 days, it's going to be like the hybrid lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'll probably go wakeboarding soon, and what I would like to do is a backflip on the wakeboard while smoking, because it might not do well, but I think it could do. So maybe I'll make an exception. But I'm very bad at moderation, so maybe I'll just leave it and do a cigar instead. But basically, I was reading James Bond. I was lying on a fucking bench like this at the beach next to Breezer, just lied on it. It was nice, reading my book, had a dart, and I was like, I wouldn't actually want this to be disturbed. So, for example, you hit 1 million, you'd probably get a lot more disturbances than where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So, and you can't really backpedal that. Like, you can't unbake that cake necessarily, unless you get cancelled. But that probably just helps you nowadays. So, yeah, I'd probably take the 1 million a year rev, like we said. The person you become, the options you have. But yeah, followers are essential, really.
Well, on the topic of followers and obviously what effect that does have on your business, how important is it to have a personal brand in this day and age when selling effectively a digital product, which is what you do?
If you're a great media buyer, then maybe you don't need a personal brand. You just run ads. But to be honest, like, in my mind, it's the yellow brick road that takes you straight to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many other benefits. So in my community, I'm like, there's so many ways you can get a role. You can get it through me, my recruitment partner, these are recruiters that work. You can find a job yourself, or you can post 10 things on LinkedIn about high ticket sales and someone will offer you a job.
Yeah.
And like already, like, the guys do that, and I'm like, good. You're getting job offers. Might not be the perfect role, but you're seeing the value of putting out and getting in. So yeah, for me, everyone has a different makeup if they want it, but I think most people who don't want a personal brand are just scared of success, and like, it's the same thing as fucking walking down the road. You just have a bigger number and it helps.
Attention is like 2025's currency, really, isn't it?
Yeah. What was the quote? If you're not paying for it, then your attention is the currency. So like, everyone just scrolls. And that's partly why I don't follow anyone, because one, I don't need their creative input, and two, I don't want to endlessly scroll. And I still find myself sometimes scrolling, but just on Facebook instead of Instagram, to be honest. But the point is, it's like, create or consume, sell or be sold, in my mind. And also, this is a point, because I don't follow anyone, might not look as I'm like as approachable, but you boys are friends. You've obviously got other mates. If you follow them and you see what they do all the time, the conversations in my mind that you have are like diluted.
I never thought of it like that.
Like,
You
when I
always know
see
what
my
you're up to.
friends, when I see my friends, I'm like, what have you been up to? Because I haven't been watching your life online,
I
because
like
you're
that.
not using it as a tool. You're using it as a life diary. Do you know what I mean?
I like that. So you're the first person that, like, obviously you see like these big brands and they just follow the founders and stuff like that. You don't really see a personal brand where that's done.
No.
And like you said, it can come across unapproachable. Like, when I'm DMing you and you don't follow anyone, I'm thinking,
Dickhead.
is this Bellend actually going to reply to me? Or,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
I see every message. I feel like I'm always looking up, because
Yeah.
like, why not? But yeah, that's the main thing for me, is like,
I really like that approach.
yeah, I think
I
it's
respect it
helpful.
as well.
Thanks. It's fun. Like, people watch my shit, and I know my mates don't really like it, because like, essentially you're talking to the person that you were a few years ago to get people into the digital product. So they're like, this isn't you, Connor. This isn't like what you're about. I know you're way deeper than this. I'm like, yeah, but you're looking at it from the wrong lens. So how about we just have a normal conversation, and social media doesn't actually matter in our relationship anyway. So tell me what the fuck you've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of it was another goat move in the goat move diary, but
When did you do that? Like, is it a
fucking
recent
ages
thing?
ago.
Or?
No. And also, the only person I do follow is my old clothing brand. So it's a bit of a long-term funnel, slowly cranking a few extra followers. And that is what the screenplay I wrote originally was for the clothing brand, was like the marketing for the clothing brand as a film. So it will come back one day. And I got it tattooed on my fingers, so Boulevard.
Dope.
Sick.
Yeah, it will come back. But I don't know about anyone else, but I'd like to make some fairly long-term commitments to the stuff I actually give a fuck about. And the fingers, it just made sense. Coca was a business I had and it flopped, so that was a good reminder.
Yeah.
But yeah, she'll come back at one day.
How can someone build a personal brand that directly impacts their business?
It's a good question. I'm probably not the expert on it, because
But you've done it though. You can still. What is
For
it?
sure.
There's the quote. A past podcast guest, Harry Morgan, said it to us. It's like you only need to know more than the student to be the teacher.
For sure. In terms of it depends, because you have to have, in my mind, if you were going to copy my blueprint, is do something arguably that hasn't been done or necessarily marketed, like smoking in the gym. Do something like that and gain, what did I go from, like 6K to 80K, and then give more value. That's the only model that I've done. So realistically, that's the only one I can speak on. So for me, it's like, I don't want to say go do some fucking extreme shit and cross the line. but that's basically how you get there.
Mm.
You can always dial it back a little bit,
Yeah.
but everyone's playing safe, aren't they? So, and safe is a long-term play. Tate grew to fame with extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Williamson grew to fame with slow value. You know, it's like pick your path and run it, but you can get fucked up by doing too much extreme stuff.
Yeah. Well, it depends how extreme you go.
For
I
sure.
feel like yours isn't that extreme. It's just controversial to the point where it's not a norm.
Yeah.
So
Frowned
straight away,
upon.
Frowned
upon.
to an extent.
funny,
Yeah.
man.
I feel
It's
like,
funny.
especially in like nowadays, I feel like smoking doesn't have the.
It's been blessed by vaping. Vaping's made smoking way cooler.
Vaping is terrible.
Well,
I'd rather smoke than vape, without a doubt.
Yeah, but I feel like it's like not. Let's say we go back, I don't know, 50 years. Like everybody would smoke.
Yeah.
Because it was like the cool thing to do, and then it became very uncool to smoke because everyone's health aware and all
Yeah.
of the effects and all of this
Hybrid.
kind of stuff. So the hybrid, that style is like you're in fucking great shape, you're smashing a workout, you look great, but then there's a dart in your mouth. It's
Yeah.
like, the fuck.
But also, I mean extreme is because like I don't do that. It's not what I do.
Yeah.
Like you don't see me in the gym smoking. It was just like I do this and I do this, so I'll just combine them for a short period of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, controversial is probably a better word than extreme.
Just do something that goes against the norm, I suppose,
Yeah.
to get the attention.
The only thing I would say is it has to be fairly natural. Like
Mm.
I've been smoking for a long time and I've been gymming probably for a similar amount of time.
Yeah.
So like it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
But if you're going out of your way to try and find something that's controversial, then you're probably just fucking
Comes across
selling out.
authentic, doesn't
Mhm.
it?
yeah.
And people can read it.
You can smell it, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It smells like shit.
How
No.
did you go broke?
Which time? Yeah. I just like spending money.
Mm.
And
Well, how many times was there?
Mm.
every time I would move away, so first time I moved I worked on a super yacht, saved like 7-8K I think on that, moved to Mexico, worked in timeshare sales, got to the point more or less, I didn't necessarily go broke this time, but my friend was struggling financially and I was helping him out, and then we were like, let's just call it quits. So I went home, started again. Wasn't fully broke to be fair that time, but the next time I went to, where was next? Bali. Basically just spunked money for 6 months, came home with nothing, technically broke. Hello parents, remember me? Take me back. And then Mexico again, saved 15 bags, same thing again. Set up a few businesses in Tulum, then worked for my aunt for a bit. Basically just spent every cent I had on tattoos because I was in a bit of a depression era.
So tattoos are linked with anxiety, aren't they?
Yeah, I needed to feel something. Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm less necessarily anxious, but like I'm definitely my own worst enemy
Mhm.
at times, and less so now.
Do you regret any of them?
No.
No?
No. There's ones I want to add to the collection because I have different beliefs and how I feel about things, but like I just want to add like
Going back to your point as well, calling them kind of anxious. I actually think that everybody's like anxious. I don't think it's
I
something
agree.
that you can avoid.
no,
It's just like
how you
the-
manage it.
Yeah. There's everybody's opinions are different, right? But that's just my view. I think everybody overthinks. I think everybody's anxious.
Yes,
It's just like how much you do of it.
for sure. That's
And how you
like
deal with it.
Mm.
yeah. My way of dealing with it is like
Toes. Nah.
Tattoos
No,
and cigarettes.
Joking,
the
I'm
tattoos
joking.
was because I was like the Tulum business. The Airbnb business had to leave in Tulum. My aunt's business, she wanted me to like help more, but I wanted to make bigger moves. And when you're not a number one in a business, you have to fight for those moves. And I was like, fuck this. So I was like, I've just quit drinking, saved money, spunked money, and now I'm going back to the UK for like a third time. I was like, I'm not about this. So then I went to fucking Afterlife or whatever it was, like 7th of January, like post New Year Tulum festival, had like a 36-hour coke bender, and then I was like depressed for 2 weeks, which is kind of my own fault. But I got the tattoos because I needed to feel something, because there was no joy in my life. I went wakeboarding, fucking hated it. Went diving, fucking hated it. So I was like, I just need to get some pain.
Mm.
That's why I got a lot of the most recent ones. I forgot what the original question was, but oh yeah, broke.
Mm-hmm.
So then went home, broke. Then what did I do next? Came home and I was like, I'm not going to leave the UK until I've got an online business. So I was maybe there for like a year, and then came here, got some fucking big loans from the bank, personal loans, and then got to maybe like January last year. And the choices I had were basically either go to Oz and work in the mines. And that was basically it. And at this point, I was doing TikToks, mainly TikTok. I think I did Insta as well, but I was getting the wrong traction. I would take a photo of my bank account on Wise. And then I would do a green screen head over it and be like, I've got £27 in my account today, and this is what I'm going to do to fucking make 10K a month. And I'd put all of my daily sales actions in, like how much outreach I was doing, did that, and then met these guys who are landing page designers. They were selling their landing pages for like $300. I met them. I was like, you guys are the most smart sort of bunch of people I've met in a while. Like, there's some autism dusted in as well, but like you kind of need that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can just sell your product for you, but we need to increase the price. Literally, maybe I did like 2 weeks of outreach. We landed one of the biggest CRO agencies in Europe, and that turned into like a 30K a month business, like not overnight, but over a period of 3-4 weeks. But like before then, I literally, I had like nothing in my account. I borrowed $1,000 off my mate Freddie, did a YouTube video on it. It was like, as I'd landed this fucking 30K a month client, I was borrowing money from him. So it's kind of fucked, but love you, Fred, for that, because sometimes you just got to get like little helping hands along the way. So I'd say probably 2 or 3 times I've been broke, asking for money, parents, friends, that sort of shit. But now I'm out of the woods, let's say.
It says it sounds like to me that every time that you had like a low moment, it was sales that helped you to get out. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sometimes it was sales that got me in there.
Oh wow.
Because like the mentality of, well, as I was younger, what I used to do is if I sold well, I'd spend well.
Yeah.
So like I was just not financially literate, to be honest. And I wouldn't say I'm really that financially literate now.
I wouldn't say sales was like the problem though then.
No.
I was
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But the mindset I was in is I'm just going to sell. I'm going to go to a beach club in Playa del Carmen and fucking get on it. Like,
well, I sold 3K this week. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was like, sometimes it was like 3K a day.
Yeah.
So you were going hard. And then, yeah, like buying Gucci shades, fucking just thinking I was a Donny. But then, yeah, sales is the thing that gets you out, because anyone will hire you because it's commission only. And I perform better on commission only. Have you boys done sales before?
I wouldn't say we've done it.
Traditional sort of sales. I guess you kind of have like,
Well, we have to.
life
for
of sales.
business,
Yeah.
You have to sell yourself, right? You have to sell the vision.
It's
when
the
you're
prime
onboarding
example.
a client or a team member. Or
Yeah. You're not getting paid to like sell your business, are you? So the pressure's high. For me, I prefer the pressure. I worked at a SaaS company in Bournemouth for a year, which was great because I taught a lot of people how to get good at sales, did a lot of calls, sharpened the sword some more, but they paid me like 30K basic, so I didn't really give a fuck. If you're going to pay me anyway, I'll just sit there, chat shit, build my personal brand on the side, like you're paying me to fucking do that. Whereas if there's no money on the table and it's all commission,
you got to put in the work.
yeah, I prefer that level of accountability and pressure. But yeah, to answer your question, sales is always the thing that gets me there, and I fought it for a long time, to be honest.
How important is sales in life? Well, we know how important it is in business, but in life, how important is sales?
I would say communication is one of the most important things, and sales is just a
different
side
form of
quest.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. And the better you are at selling, the more things you get, more or less. Probably the better partner, better friendships. You get fucked over less. Kind of gives you a bit more of an edge, especially if you do like traditional sales, door to door, cold calling. You build up that resilience, that thicker skin.
What do you say? It's no rejection.
Oh, rejection therapy. It's not what I say. It's like a
Yeah.
friend.
No,
Yeah.
but you
Just
always
tagged you with it.
No, but you always say it like,
Yeah,
boys, let's
yeah.
go do some rejection therapy. Like we jumped on a flight.
Love that.
Go and ask the fucking flight attendants if there's any first class seats going for free.
I think that's goated.
Like it's
Yeah.
getting used to people saying no.
I'm trying to get my girlfriend to do it at the moment. She won't.
Slippery slope. I got my
Yeah.
girlfriend to work, or ex-girlfriend to work with me door to door, because we were making mad dough. And I imagine it was one of the best moves she made, because she's doing well now, but bad for the relationship. really bad. So I don't know if girls are like, do they need that?
I think for me, it's like
Be
just
pretty
like
and lovely.
It's quite a masculine thing to do, though.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, maybe like
Good for the
boost her,
minerals.
like confidence a little bit. Just like she can.
Yeah.
It's fucking sexy when you scroll for Instagram though and you see an absolute world closing a deal for 10k. Isn't it?
But rejection therapies are good. I have that, like one of the first parts of the course that I built is either video yourself asking for someone's number or ask for a free coffee in a coffee shop. Same principle. Because I just think it's like the easy thing that you can do to realize that no doesn't make a difference.
I would go further. The easier thing to do is like walk into the coffee shop and say hello and ask the waiter or someone in there how their day is.
Yeah.
So many people are scared to talk.
Yeah. It's funny.
Like, it's funny, but it's actually also a shame. Like some people are like, do you know what I mean?
Can't help everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I just see it as like, I find it funny because it's just, how else do you look at it? Like,
I've never really understood that though, because I find it hard not to just be interested. Like even if it just is like, how you doing? Like how's your day? I don't know. Just whenever I speak to someone, I find it hard not to conversate with them.
for sure. I'd like to say I wish I was more like that. Takes me a minute to get there.
I'm not the most extroverted person either. I'm just curious about people, I think.
Everyone.
I think you're an extroverted introvert.
There's omnivert. I've said it on the pod before. It's
Oh,
like,
really?
an omnivert's someone that they get drained when they're around the wrong people.
Yeah. Okay.
They enjoy their own company, but they like also
That's
can
me
be
then.
outgoing.
Your
Yeah.
best
Yeah,
version
yeah,
of
yeah,
yourself when you're surrounded by the right people.
Don't hold me to that definition, but it's something around.
I'm holding you to
It's
it.
it's basically like in between the two, but you get super drained if you're around the wrong people or not doing what you want.
Yeah. I feel like I'm exactly like that. You put me in a group of, you put me even like in a group of my mates sometimes and I'll still like go introverted because I'm like, this isn't the conversation I want to be having.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's a bit of dickheadness in there, I guess, still. But it depends what you're doing, like what gives you energy. I see extrovert as whatever gives you energy, like exercise or sports or people. So for me, like water sports will make me very extroverted. That's why I like doing it with friends, because I want to fucking share that fucking rascal energy.
That's dope.
That's how I feel with training, to be fair. I've never actually looked at it like that, like when I'm fucking getting a hard
Especially if
workout
you're training
in.
with like your boys and it's like, I'm going to fucking do 10 more reps than you little prick. I love that energy. And then it's just like compounding fucking gains for everyone. But it depends if you like to, not like belittle each other, but there's an element of, I'm going to be better than you today. The competition is hard to,
I think good
hard to
friendships
fight.
do that.
Yeah.
We play paddle, we'll go to the gym
Nice.
or whatever we do. Like, motherfucker, you got whooped today.
Yeah.
People are playing pool bro, or bowling.
Shouting at them.
Something like, and we get competitive.
Yeah.
But then we all go home, we have food and we laugh about it.
I think that's the best. And that's something that I want more of, because I like to lock myself in a place with no distractions to make sure I get stuff done. But you can't live there forever.
It's like that camaraderie can push that to the next level though.
For sure.
Because when you are on your own and you said to yourself, you don't follow people so you don't doom scroll, but you find yourself doom scrolling. But if you sat at a desk or a table with four, five other people and you pick up your phone to start doom scrolling, you look at everyone else and they're dialed.
Yeah.
You kind of
You're
turn
like,
the
"Fuck
phone
this."
off and carry on.
What is it? Something like you have 4 A players and a C player. The C player will become a B like very quickly, and then vice versa. An A with 4 Cs will become a B, because you just kind of stoop to the level of the people you're around.
I feel like we've seen it firsthand, to be honest. I wouldn't say he's got to like the A player standard yet, but he's making his way up to the B.
Yeah.
We brought in a very close friend of ours into the business as a senior member of our team, let's say. We have
Sick.
a lot of cloud members, we call them, guys that we use from all around the world to fulfill tasks effectively that we don't want to do.
Offshore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
International arbitrage. That's the nice way to put it. But we brought in effectively an in-house team member that's been our friend, he's actually my cousin and been a friend of ours
Nice.
for a decade pretty much. And he literally left his job like 2 months ago.
Sick.
He was in a 9-to-5 corporate, and then 2 months later he's in Bali for 6 weeks
Sick.
with us building a fucking business.
Yeah, the level of not that it'll feel like it'll owe you, but there'll be a level of like, I'm here to perform because you're bringing me in, and I want to be more like you.
To an extent, yeah. But even like me and H will get into heated debates or conversations.
Nice.
We should do this. No, I don't think we should do. Why the fuck should we not do that? And you can just see him like sat there, and he's just really like you can see it ticking.
Yeah.
And he's not really at the stage yet where he can be like, no. But I think
he's learning still.
But it will.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But it will come,
He's
and it's
sponge.
because he's spending more time with us. The way that he carries himself, the way he talks, he's more confident. He's more out there.
It's nice to see.
It is nice to see.
I find that with drinking, like most of the people that are around me now, like will drink very infrequently.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm like the fucking
Yeah.
holding the torch for it, but like 1 + 1 is 2. But it's nice to see
I
that.
personally think life's better without alcohol. I went out, we went to Finn's last week, and I had like my first bit of alcohol in like ages, months.
And he was buzzing.
No, like listen, you get like a couple hours of fun, whatever, and like you don't really care. But it's like I just don't really enjoy it.
If you could stay tipsy for a prolonged period of time, it'd be kind of like better.
I just don't like how you feel after, and like the day after, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be sharp. I feel like I don't know. There's just something about it that just doesn't sit right with me.
The world is going that way. Like I feel like I only had that realization like 26, 27 maybe. Like everyone's getting a little bit fucking earlier on the jump of you can party when you got fucking decent cash coming
This is
in.
the
and
thing
you can
that I
do
say
it.
is like, what the fuck am I celebrating?
Yeah, exactly. Like why
What
are you
am I
having a party
celebrating?
already?
Yeah.
I would also argue though, like, what the fuck am I celebrating? You're not celebrating every day. You're celebrating once a month. Celebrate life. Celebrate the fact that you're fit, you're healthy.
I wouldn't party once a month though. I was like every day, a lot of the time.
But we do party once a month.
Nah, probably
If
not
that.
even one. I probably drink alcohol like twice,
If
3
that.
times a year.
Yeah.
That's calm then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I could probably
everything's
drink
in
now and be
balance, right?
sound.
Yeah, but even those like few times a year that I might have a bit of alcohol, I'm like, I just didn't really want it.
Yeah, I feel like they're nice. They just add to the bank of why am I doing this until you just don't do it. But then some people are better on it. Like I've got mates and they don't really get hungover still somehow. They're still 30. I'm like, what the fuck? They just have good energy, but they have less like shit going on in their, not less stuff going on in their life, but like they don't have as much like pressure that they put on themselves, let's say. So they'll wake up and be dossing and chilling, go to the gym. Whereas I'll wake up and be like, fuck, I should have just worked instead. But I think stopping drinking is a bit of a life hack anyway.
I agree. Though I don't know whether I will completely stop, because I do enjoy like a cold beer with my old man in the summer.
A Mythos. Nah, what's a good
No, we
Alpha?
Gale, that's in Cyprus.
That's
what
more
we
of a
drink.
Cypriot one though.
There's this 7% one in Greece called Alpha. It's fucking good.
And Mythos is a good beer as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit of like a Heineken though. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Fix is good. You know, Fix.
Do you know what a Gale like is like? Have you had a Bing Tang out here?
Yeah.
Very like goes
You,
down
man,
very
you guys
easy.
disagreed with me when I said that it was like a Gale.
Or was it?
I think it tastes like a Bintang,
Yeah.
personally.
Like
But
dirt.
it was a god that disagreed.
I haven't drunk it in a while, but I remember drinking them and be like, it kind of tastes like soil.
I felt like it went down really easy.
Probably.
The few that I've had.
Probably.
If they're freezing, like it has to be freezing.
Yeah, ice cold. But I was like you, like whiskey man. So I actually have a bottle of whiskey that I was given and a case of cigars in my parents' attic in Bournemouth for when I hit one of my milestones.
Nice.
Whether or not I'll drink it or I'll just smash it against a classic car that I just bought, I don't know. We'll see. But like,
A neat whiskey. There's like, it's also the character that you play when you're having it as well.
I watched a lot of Peaky Blinders when I was like 22, 23. I think
Yeah.
it was that time.
Yeah.
Maybe younger. And all they do is drink whiskey and smoke
Yeah.
ciggies. So I just thought I was Tommy Shelby for a long time.
But I mean, you look at like a lot of the. I know this is bad, like, but like you look at like the series like Power, or have you watched Power?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah, like Power, Peaky Blinders. You look at an example like the Tates or these kind of people that are, yeah, they might be characters, but they're people that are playing characters that you want to play in real life,
Yeah.
and they're having a whiskey.
Yeah.
And yeah, the first whiskey that you have, you're a bit like fucking hell, but then you start to like enjoy the burn.
Yeah, yeah.
And like you start to then feel the classiness of it, and it's like, yeah, like why should I can still be fucking sharp. If anything, 2 whiskeys deep, I'm sharp as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you know, like, do you
I
know
just
what I mean?
I just don't leave it at that. Or I traditionally I wouldn't. Like
Yeah.
I like to, I don't know if it's my OCD, but like I wouldn't open that bottle and not finish it
Yeah,
And
see,
like,
I don't know.
it has to, this has to, if it's open, it has to get closed. Maybe it's the sales sort of like mindset of every door that's open needs to be closed. But
I think it's a bit different, bro.
bottle of Red Label, I remember like it just doesn't make sense to not finish it. And I'm like that with everything. Bar of chocolate will never get
How
left.
are you
uneaten.
finishing a bottle of Red Label, bro? That's it.
So when I lived in Greece, we would drink every day. 2 bottles of like Eno wine, which was like €2,
Yeah.
tape it to your hands kind of stuff, like hitting it hard. Then in Greece, and then in France, in Val d'Isère, worked on a bar, we were having vitamin G's. Like we'd wake up and have a Guinness, call it vitamin G. Like we were hitting it hard. Mexico, you drink on the tour, you drink when you're selling the people, you fucking pop the champagne when they buy. Like there was a lot of boozing. You know, it's like everyone gets thirsty Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's like very easy, especially if you're making cash in sales. It's like the done thing is to go and celebrate, because then you are celebrating something.
Yeah.
Because you just got a new deal in, you fucking got something over the line that's been fucking on your plate for a while, or someone else did, right? You're in a team of, in Mexico, we had a team of like 30 people. Most of them are Spanish.
Someone's closing every day.
Multiple people are closing every day. So it's like,
you've got to go and celebrate.
Beach club?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I didn't sell, but you did. Fuck it. So yeah. But yeah, I think life hack is, well, you got 2 options. You either don't drink until you're successful, or you drink to a point where you hate yourself because you're not successful, then you quit. It's kind of how I see it.
Damn.
In my mind.
I want to talk about your relationships.
The non-existent ones.
Well, the first question I've got for you is, there's a lot of movement in your story. Here, then here, this level of success down to this low, all of this kind of stuff. Where do your, let's say, friends fall into this? And how much has your relationships with them been affected by all of the different stages and movements?
Friends or chicks?
Friends first.
Calm, easy. So the ones who want to come along for the ride are free to come along for the ride, but not everyone wants it.
Yeah.
So
Could you kind of outgrow? Some people are in a fixed mentality, right?
For sure.
And they can't think of anything worse than going to Mexico to try something, or going to Bali, or
depends if they've got someone to go and lean on.
Right.
I find people will, you know, use that as a bit of a rock. They might not do it on their own or on their ones, but they're like, I've got the minerals to go do it with someone.
Yeah.
But for me, it was always more like, I'm fucking doing this anyway. From like 19, went to Greece. I was like, I'm going. Next year, my mate Dom comes out. Next year, there's just more people coming out, more people. Ski season at the end, like 6 of my mates ended up coming out, more or less. I think an extra like 3 or 4 of them ended up working there. Like there's a compounding effect of like just doing it anyway. And that's why like with content, it kind of overlaps. I don't like to do what other people are doing, because I personally don't like to do what other people are necessarily doing anyway. Like I'm pretty bad with plans. Someone organises something, I probably won't, let's say a trip. There's one coming up with my friendship group. They want to go to Lombok, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but like I just can't go on that trip with you. I'll go there and I'll stay somewhere else and I'll see you, but I can't like let you organise my fucking time. And it's the same with moving around. Greece, France. Worked on a super yacht for a bit in Palma, then went to Mexico. Most of the time someone's come with me, more or less. So that hasn't really made a difference. And I don't know if you've had it, but as soon as you go home, if they're your boys, nothing changes anyway. And then they're just getting inspired by it, or they're working hard. But one of the things I remember saying to my mates was, this is when I was quitting drinking. I was like, I see myself as a stock. I'm fucking about to float on the fucking exchange. I'm going up, and I'd love to see you at the top. We might not go together, but I'd prefer to see you at the top than for you to not to see me there at all. So
I love that.
I kind of like let it happen, and I'm fortunate here. I got Westy, who I've known since I was 15. Harry, since I've known since 6 years old. Fred, I've known for at least 10 years. My mate Dom's going to come out that I've known my whole life. Like, I got some long-term boys out here, and we all just came together. Westy came from Sri Lanka. Harry came from Oz. Freddie came from UK. Like, none of us really planned to necessarily like come together here, but it just worked that way.
That's dope.
So for me, original question, like, it's not that I don't care about my friends, but I'll either make more or we'll find each other.
You put your oxygen mask on first, right?
100%.
And then help the rest.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Thank you.
I think it's the number one way to live your life. Like, no one really cares about me as much as I care about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and no one can like force you to do anything. That's what I've learned recently is like, you can plant seeds. You got someone to be.
No,
I'm kidding. Dickhead.
Coming at me. I just don't want to run over the studio time. You fucking boring me. That's what it is, mate. Fuck it out.
Funny. Sorry, I had to.
It's all right, bro. I like it.
I can't even remember what we were saying.
We're talking about your friends. Putting your oxygen mask on first. Nobody cares about you the way you care about you.
Yeah, like what I've learned. Same with sales. Sales is basically life. Everything I do, you can basically, at some point, have some analogy that will resonate with sales. But on a sales call or on a sales tour, whatever you do, face to face or on the phone, I'm there to plant seeds, and then they get watered along the way. And the same with friends. How about you do this? If I was you, maybe you could do that. Have you thought about this? Like, there's no like push, there's no force. It's like, I'm just going to drop the ideas. If you want to water it, good. Because I know like whatever you plant will grow. So if I can plant a couple of things along the way and help the outcome that maybe I want selfishly to happen, because I know realistically, I feel like most of the things I do in my life, people would love to do anyway. I know that I said at the start that I haven't had these happy experiences, but like the whole thing has been like a great experience, a great journey. I know that other people would really enjoy it, and especially when 99% of the world don't experience this sort of stuff, and they do their 9 to 5, they clock in, clock out, blissfully unaware, I'd imagine, of what else there is. Yeah. The people around me who I like, who have been friends for a long time, I'm like, I want you to experience this. And if you hate it, sweet, I was wrong, but like, I'm wrong all the time, so fuck it.
I think a lot of people are scared to be wrong as well.
Yeah, I think it's a life hack to be wrong. What was there?
Rejection
I used to say a line. I'm wrong so often that I'm probably right. Like, doesn't make a dent in my mind. The more L's, I used to go through a phase. I'm less on it now. I'll probably have to get back to it, but like, give me all the L's I can handle.
You can only be wrong so many times, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's just, I don't know. How else do you get any better? If you had a perfect life, then you would be a fucking pretty average bloke. What is it? I think it's a Hormozy bit. If you were to design like the perfect sort of, let's say, man who is like resilient, successful in business, good relationships, like,
you put him through a lot of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to live by it too much, because there's ways of doing stuff that is more optimized than just fucking running through walls all the time and being a nutcase. Yeah, exactly. You can finesse it a little bit.
You can work smarter but pair it with the harder.
Yeah, you need both.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. But no, fortunate to have like good mates out here, and I think that's potentially what helps me a lot. Is if I need anything, it's like, I'll just call them. Even though I live like an hour away, like where I'm staying now, next door to my mate Westy, and we're all kind of like working together at the moment. It's kind of coming together. I didn't really necessarily want to work with all my friends, but like Westy's my growth partner. Harry helps me with like spirituality, nervous system, and he has a LinkedIn agency, so like prompts for the VA to do the LinkedIn posts, that sort of stuff. And then I've got Freddie. He's like arguably the best closer I've ever met in my life. Like, he has energy like no fucking man ever. Like, you would just buy from him because you're like, I want to be around your energy. Yeah, he could say absolute gas, but you do it because you're like, you've infected me with this fucking positivity. So hopefully I want him to come in and close deals, because I don't need to close them. Less access, more value. So yeah, like, if there's more of my mates that want to come in, and I'm definitely dropping seeds.
I really resonate with that, because our whole journey started, you know, the Nauk boys, right?
Fucking, I love Nauk.
Yeah,
they're goated.
Yeah. So that whole, everything that me and H have going on right now started with us doing YouTube videos, trying to be like the Nauk boys.
Sick.
So this is the Gooms Podcast, and Gooms is a short abbreviation of the word gumbaro, which I'm guessing you might know.
No.
Nah, bro, I ain't got a clue.
He told me. But gumbaro is basically like, the best way to put it is like in Spanish you would say amigo. So my gumbaro is
you
my
said
best
like
man.
faye. No, faye, isn't that food?
Faye.
What's
File.
friend of mine?
File.
Filemu, yeah.
Filemu, yeah. But gumbaro is like, my gumbaro would be my best man. My gumbari would be the plural, which is like the guys that are going to come on my stag do, let's say.
Yeah.
And you can flip it for the feminine, etc. But we wanted to do the Gooms squad, and we were like really excited. We were calling everyone, we were pitching them the idea, like how amazing would it be if we could travel the world together, we could create content, we could have all of these amazing memories, make shitload of money off the back of it, build businesses off the back of the audience. We're funny, we take the piss out of each other, we like to go and do this. There's loads of other people that would fucking watch that shit. Like, who's in?
100%.
Everyone was like, you know.
You just put this mad pitch together.
And me and H were just kind of like, fuck, like we're gonna have to do this shit on our own then. So then we started doing our own.
I'm pretty sure that we were already doing it before. Like I started YouTube.
Yeah.
I started like YouTube during lockdown, and then Chris died after as well. And then like we said to them about doing it.
Yeah.
They weren't really on it.
I feel like that's probably the hardest thing. Like, none of my mates make content really. And that was always for me. I was like, that's why I was a bit very inconsistent with it, because I'd post loads and I'd fucking fall off a bit and then I'd post again.
Nobody to kind of hold you accountable to that stuff.
That's a bit like me right now, to be fair.
Yeah.
During lockdown as well on TikTok, I used to post like 3 to 5 TikToks a day.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, two things. I don't know how I did so fucking many and just like stuck
You
it.
had nothing to do.
And then,
Other than
but we still, obviously we both used to work in the family businesses, but like.
Wait, so what was the family business?
Fish and chip shops, and then Chris had like a chicken grill shop. If that makes sense.
Love that.
Food.
Yeah. I was going to say, it must be, yeah.
And then the other thing is, like, I wish that I didn't stop. Like, even though the content was like more so like meme stuff, and like it would definitely not an intentional audience what I have now, well, for what we do now. But like, if I didn't stop, like, it probably just would have evolved anyways.
I think that is like, at least having one brother is like key, because you're like, fuck it, ride or dies then.
Well,
you're like
that's
locked in.
That's what happened. We were like, well, if they don't want to jump in with us, then fuck them. Like, well, let's just do it.
You know what?
We were doing it anyways.
Yeah, but let's just do it properly.
Yeah.
Like, let's come away from our jobs. Let's give it a crack.
You know, DraftKings.
Yeah.
I met Merck here and a few of the other boys on a night out. I was like, I rate that heavy, because like you don't see, like, I've got mates here, which is fucking great, but like to see all of your mates come out and all do it, I'm like, that's goated. Like, that's like.
I actually spoke with Merck last week.
Yeah.
We were going to set up like some kind of a collab pod and stuff, but they're all in Marbella.
Yeah.
And they ain't coming back anytime soon, I don't think. So.
Yeah, they're quite jokes, but to have that little squad, I was like, fair, that's the dream.
Yeah.
More or less, because then you got all your mates.
Effectively, that's what we pitched 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But nobody got on board. The difference is with their little clique, it sounded like everybody got on board.
It's a shame, because like all you want is the best for all of your mates, and you know that
They just don't see it.
what you can bring together will probably fucking be like blow their fucking brains out, right? But then they just, I don't know what the reason they don't do it is.
My one counter argument to that, and like obviously, like I chose this life. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I want. But I've said this on the podcast a few times when people have come on and they've said about, like, you're stupid for doing the 9 to 5, and like the school system's fucking rigged and stuff, which like everybody's got their opinions. Maybe I don't totally disagree, maybe I do. Like I take bits
Sound
from
very
different
Switzerland.
places. But
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Like not making a decision, sit in the middle.
No, it's not that I sit in the middle. My response when somebody comes on and they make these outlandish things about like stupid for not doing the 9 to 5, etc. is well, like
stupid.
What if that person might want to just have a normal life? Like, what if that is what makes them happy, and them waking up and like going to their job and then being able to enjoy a nice evening with their loved ones, maybe like have a bottle of wine once a week.
Different
and like,
values.
Yeah, like maybe that's just what they enjoy, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like not how I'm wired. And like maybe I've never actually looked at it like this. Like my friends, like I know that that's what they've said that they want anyways. Like maybe that is just what they want out of life.
Yeah, I think
I'm happy with
you
the
can
Audi.
you
I don't
can
want the
tell.
Ferrari. I want to switch off at 5 o'clock and then not switch back on until
And
tomorrow.
as well, it's a safety net.
That's if it's
That's
well.
the other thing.
I feel like if it's a safety net, then they definitely should be doing it. Not the 9 to 5. They should take a risk, because if it's a safety net, then they're holding themselves back. If they actually want to have a family, kids, do that, sweet. But like, you can do that as well.
You've just opened my perspective, because I feel like most of the times that people will go into not chase the dream that they want, because everybody, like, if you ask everybody, like, if they could choose to be rich and live free, I think 99.9% of people would say yes to it, like, full stop. That is an opinion that I have, but I've never really looked at it, and you've opened up my perspective. It's like the playing it safe. Like, obviously you know it, but that probably is a massive factor as well.
I would also
It's like
argue that
expectations of family playing it safe.
being rich and living free is fucking hard.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people have got the minerals to actually do it.
You got to do it multiple times. Well, for me, I've had to do it like.
Don't worry, it's not just you, bro.
How many times have we had setbacks? And a lot of people would be like, okay, this isn't working. Maybe I should.
I feel like it's probably quite embarrassing for some people as well, starting your own thing.
Probably, yeah.
No, definitely. I think.
Don't give a fuck.
You know what really changed it for me is when I started. I tell everyone again, and because I'm moving into personal brand a bit as well as sales, and I'm like, just fucking take a tripod to the gym and video yourself, and you'll get over a lot of issues. Because as soon as you do that, you're like,
no one actually gives.
No one cares. Like, they're probably inspired with anything because they wanted to do it.
It
and they
sparked
just didn't.
Conversation, bro. Yesterday, like, as soon as I walked into Obsidian, it was the first time I'd taken a camera to a gym over here. And like straight away, the second exercise I did, like, some guy next to me like just came over and just wanted to ask
what you filming for, dude?
Yeah. Nah, he was French.
You're not zooming in the middle of a fucking set.
But his French, he was like, "What are you filming for?"
OnlyFans. No, I think that's the main thing though, is people care too much about what other people think. And then when you really remove yourself from caring about these people that aren't in the position that you want to be in, so why would you care about them? Then just fucking run it.
Only listen to opinions of somebody that's got something you want.
Exactly. That's the main.
I've got a saying.
I love
like
sayings.
People.
I've got them all here. I've got fucking.
I can't even remember how I used to say
Good
it,
saying,
but it's basically like people let the validation and opinions of others dictate their decisions.
Yeah. That's why people read reviews and stuff.
Loser mentality.
More or less, but it's easy to get caught up in it. Like, I've had it from one of the ones I always remember, my friend, big successful business, was doing racks when I was fucking doing nothing. And then I got a viral LinkedIn post, I think it was. And he was like, yeah, well done. Try taking those views to the bank. And it like stuck in my head for a long time. I was like, oh shit, I can't exchange that for money, can I? So then my mind changed to, I need a business before a brand, because I need to earn it, let's say, do the Hormozy, like brand, then business, then brand. Whereas like now I'm like, the brand is the fucking business. Like, but having those little one-liners, they can either serve you or they can hold you back for fucking ages.
It's choosing to let something stick, isn't it? Like, you can sit down, you can listen to a 90-minute podcast, but the value that you take from that podcast might just be in a 30-second segment. Oh yeah,
and
you run with that.
I'm like a gardener. I see it like I just weed like 1%, 2% of like what's going to be good.
You don't need to consume it all, but you don't need to let it all stick.
And also how much goes in. I think like I'll be listening to something and I'll be doing something else. I'm like, how much of it just goes in without me really noticing?
You're just like downloading data, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I see it. Like new software.
Yeah.
Like just getting rid of the
software
old shit.
Update.
Yeah, exactly. Hit me with that new iOS. No, that's like key. And that's like the easiest thing to fall off on, I think, is, especially in Bali for me, say I'm in Bournemouth or anywhere else I've lived, there's somewhere you can walk for almost an endless amount of time. And it's a chilled walk, whether it's by the beach, on the promenade, in town. So it's just podcast, audiobook, whatever it is on. Whereas here,
there's a Grab driver every 2 minutes. You want bike?
I just don't want to walk here. You know what I mean? I don't want to walk here unless I'm down the beach.
I went for my first walk, like, since being in Bali this morning. It's fucking stressful.
Yeah, I don't want that.
You want bike? Every fucking 20 yards, man.
Yeah, it's fucking hectic.
No, man, I got one. It's all right. Don't worry.
But then, like, this is what I actually quite enjoy. I stayed overnight last night, but I was actually going to drive home last night and come back this morning. So I was like, that's 4 hours I can lock in on listening to The Secret. And The Secret's like 4 hours, 10 minutes. I was like, I can box this book off in this drive. So that's how I was kind of like
It's like boy math. You know how girls are like, oh,
Yeah,
it's 20% off, so I have to get it.
Yeah,
You're still
yeah.
spending 80%.
No, for sure.
Like boy math is I'm going to get in the car for 4 hours just so I can box it off.
But like, I remember when I was doing door to door in the Jag, I would be fucking flying around the whole of the UK, and I was just fucking ripping podcasts all day. Hormozy, Bradley, fucking all the top boys, just like you say, downloading. And I feel like that's where a lot of information will go in. And also then you define who your like inspirations are, who you want to be like, what you want to do. And it's a good way if you've got, let's say you have to remove yourself from your friendship group because they're not on the same wavelength or path. You end up having these imaginary friends of podcasters or creators anyway, don't you?
I actually watched Hormozy, and I mentioned it to H yesterday. It was like an acquisition.com like seminar thing, and someone stood up and he was asking how to scale his PE company and all of this kind of stuff. And Hormozy, like the first thing he said is like the first thing you have to ask yourself is like, who do you want to be when you grow up? And it's the first time I've ever seen a grown man ask a grown man, who do you want to be when you grow up? You normally get asked that question when you're like 10, 12, 15, 16. What do you want to be when you grow up? He was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Think about that. Yeah. And then build it off of that. That's what I've been deep in with the inner child shit, is like, what would the young fucking kind of do, basically? Who do you want to be when you grow up? And build your shit around that. Who did you want to be? I wanted to be Cristiano Ronaldo. No way. Yeah. CR7, baby. Come on. H?
When people always used to ask me what I wanted to do when I was older, my answer would just be a millionaire. To be honest with you, I actually like from a young age. Like, that's actually what I used to say. No, I swear to God, honestly, that's what I used to say to people all the time.
No way. So it wasn't a thing; it was just like an outcome.
Yeah. Also, yeah.
I wanted to be a stuntman.
Did you actually?
I get that vibe.
But I actually had a look. I had a look like maybe a couple of years ago at like all the skills you need to be a stuntman. I'm not going to say I had everything boxed off, but I was like, somehow I've managed to do all of this without even like realizing it. Yeah. The only thing was like I'd need to get better at martial arts.
So when you direct your own films, you can be a stuntman in them now as well.
I'd probably make some cameos.
Full deal over here.
Full package.
I just think film is like it would probably be YouTube. But honestly, like a few of the ideas were.
You can do it. You seen like Kai Cenat's mini stuff that do you know who Kai Cenat is?
Yeah, I fucking love the American
But
boys.
you know, like his mini movie things that he did, like the skits where he did like the Rush Hour.
It's like Rush Hour, yeah.
With, you know, the Chinese dude that he brought in. Not Chinese.
No.
Where is he from?
I like the skits, not the skits. I like the films that like Nines will do, where he'll make like an actual film. They're
really good. So Kai did something similar to that, but he did it on a comedic level.
Okay, yeah.
Where he like reinvented Rush Hour with the black and Chinese dynamic, but put his own twist on it, and it was like a 20-minute short film.
That's sick.
But
I don't even know if
brilliant.
it's 20 minutes, you know, but it is good.
It was brilliant.
I feel like they'd be fun to make though.
Yeah.
And then just bang it on YouTube. But
And
it was
then
actually
it's direct, like you get paid for people watching it.
It was about the topic that we spoke about off air, which was like 2 paths. Ride or die chick, no ride or die chick. And I wanted it to be like, maybe, I don't know how this would actually work out, but like a side by side of the journey of the man with the bird or without the bird.
Wow.
Or you do one of the bird on her own who said no, and the bird with the man. She would have a fucking, let's say
But that could be the sequel. That could be number 2.
maybe we'll see.
I like that.
I think it'd be fun. They kind of have the same journey, but realistically in my mind, like the first scene is make or break. One goes make, one goes break. And then at the end, it's like more than likely the guy will be on like do you know what a standcraft is? Like a Italian small powerboat that's all wooden, more or less.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Very James Bond.
That's the closing scene.
That would be a closing scene with the couple.
He's either together or on his own.
No. The one on his own would probably be, this is why I like the female version more, is the woman's on her own. She's also on a boat, but she's on a boat with like a party with a millionaire.
Right.
So like if she'd have gone with the guy, she would have been on a private little speedboat in, you know, Venice.
Romantic, intimate, or she's on a yacht in Miami.
She gets booted off, yeah. So I think that's why the female version is better. I don't know.
Do you have enough experience to tell the story from that perspective, though?
I can get experience.
True.
Also, I see it everywhere.
True.
What do I do?
Travel the world and see loads of girls. Yeah.
Get an OF, job done. Boom. It's the path of least resistance.
It is valid.
But yeah, I don't exactly have the experience to.
You'll figure it out. I'm sure you will.
It's already written down. It's already written down.
I want to ask you about, because I asked you about your friendships. I want to ask you about relationships with females, and you said obviously you're ride or die or not. Like, what is your take on a relationship? I know that you're single. Like, is it something that
Am I?
That's what you fucking told me.
No, I'm kidding. Of course I am. Yeah.
That's what you fucking told me.
No, yeah.
Is it like a dream of yours to have a wife and the fenced garden and the kids and that kind of stuff? Or are you just kind of like, I'm on my mission, I'm doing my thing, and whoever comes along, that's it?
I'd like a ranch with horses, I think.
Yeah.
To be honest. Some nippers would be fun. Honestly, I think I'd get on most with just a dog. Like, I met a stray dog the other day, come back from the beach, and he walked as if he was mine. Was starting like bark at monkeys for me. I was like, God, this guy fucking loves me. Walked all the way home with me, and I was like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm not falling for this trap. Do you know what I mean? But
wakes up tomorrow with rabies.
Yeah. But no, I think like I've been seeing a few chicks here and there, and like the last one, I was like, I actually can't like give you what you need. You need a lot of my time. Not a lot, but like a decent amount. You need my full attention, which I've been working on to be more present, but like easier said than done. And then the rest of it is like, am I the person that I want to be yet? If I'm not, then I know that there's more or less an unfair amount of work that I need to do beforehand. And unless they're ready to fucking let me do my thing and maybe take a Sunday and that's it with me, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. And then if I do get into something, then I feel like that's more selfish for me because I'm just wasting someone else's time. But everyone slips up now and again. It's kind of quite fun, especially like if you go into a bit of a mode where you're not like just working, mates, hustling, gymming. It's quite fun to spend time with a chick. But like...
It's like seasonal.
Kind of, but like the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, right? Like...
Bless you.
If I'm going to drink the whole bottle, I'm going to go fucking studs up straight away, which is annoying. And I'm trying to like work on that with chicks because it just sets the wrong impression and there's not like the boundaries and expectations need to be set.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like I'm not just I don't act as a fuck boy. I would act as like a man or boyfriend fairly early on because that's like how you want to be,
Gentleman.
right? Yeah, exactly. No, but they take that as...
They fall in love with that shit.
Yeah, like there was this one chick and I introduced her to my friends after a couple of weeks because I was like, I'm going to meet my friends and...
Wanna come?
Basically, not that deep. And then this is what I was told after the fact. It's like, that's like a love symbol. That's like a love bomb. I was like, okay, well, that's me being naive then. I thought I was just...
You're just riding the wave. I'm seeing this chick. I'm seeing my friends. It's like very man logic, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm like, you don't have to fucking become best mates. It's like, spend a couple of hours together, see you later, job done. But they deep it more. Whereas I just thought 2 birds, 1 stone, to be honest.
Yeah. You're trying to be efficient as fuck.
Yeah. And I know they've all got dogs. So I'm like, well, if they've got dogs, the dogs can play. I'm like, really not overthinking it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't go that way. So that was another lesson learned. I like learning lessons, and I think birds will probably be one of the last lessons that I learned because it's from my experience, it's slightly easier to get into a relationship than it is to build a business. From my experience.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I'd rather do the hard thing first.
Before we wrap up, bro, I want to ask you, what is your advice to somebody listening right now that's unhappy with their current situation, that maybe wants to get into sales, wants to travel the world, wants to have an online business, wants to be remote? What is your piece of advice to them to not only get started, but to thrive in this industry?
I feel like getting started is the most important part. But there's a couple of things you could say. Depends on the person who's listening. First one is, stop being a fucking victim and just get it done. Like, it ain't that deep and it ain't that hard. Anyone will hire you to get into sales because they don't have to pay you unless you close or you set appointments, whatever it is. The more philosophical side would be like, visualize the person you want to be in the next 12, 18, 24 months and then make decisions based on that person's mindset rather than the one you are now. Because if you make decisions based on who you are now, you'll only end up here. Whereas if you make decisions based on the person in 1 to 5 years' time, then you'll get there.
Fuck yeah.
More or less.
Pleasure, brother.
Love that, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's been a great conversation.
Lovely game of fives.
No.
A lovely game of fives.
Yeah.
You know that?
No.
Drinking game.
No.
Thank you very much for a lovely game of fives.
No.
No way.
You can tell you were the alcoholic, right?
Fuck off.
But yeah, listen, guys, thank you all. If you're on Spotify, make sure you drop us a follow and leave us a rating. And if you're on YouTube, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn that bell notification on so you get notified every time we release a podcast. And we will see you all next week.
Catch you later, guys. Thanks for listening.
Peace.